Hi, this video is going to show you 5 steps as to what you need to do to store your snowblower over the summer until the winter months. The first step, obviously, is safety first. You notice I have on my safety goggles because in this process we're going to be using highly flammable liquids, gas, fuel stabilizer, and I want to keep my eyes nice and safe. The next step is that we're going to use a siphon to siphon all of the gas out of the engine in the snowblower. Once the gas is out of the snowblower, then we're going to start it up and run it until it dies. That ensures there's no gas left in the tank. You don't want to leave any gas in the tank because it becomes what's called dead gas, and that can be very corrosive to your engine, especially after, when you don't use it for 4 or 5, 6 months. We run the machine. Once the engine cools down, we're going to pour in a few ounces of fuel stabilizer. This again, what it does is it prevents corrosion in the engine. So we'll put in a few ounces. We will run the snowblower for about a minute. That gets the stabilizer throughout the engine, again, preventing any corrosion, buildup, things of that nature. Lastly, step 5. We are going to use a damp cloth and we are going to wipe down every inch of the engine. We want to make sure that we get rid of salt stains, grime, rust, moisture, any excess gas, fuel stabilizer. You want to make sure that it's nice and dry. Then we're going to put a tarp on it, and we are going to store it in hopes that upon the first snowfall, on the first pull, it starts right up. All right, here we are, as I said earlier, safety first. I put on my safety goggles, and now we're going to begin the process of siphoning the gas from the gas tank in the snowblower into a gas tank. So you want to make sure this goes in nice and deep. You want to make sure that this is in deep, and you really want to use a professional siphon that you get at the Home Depot or one of the big box stores. And so you just take it and you can actually feel it start to siphon. You can hear the knock in the gas. And I think that might just about do it. When you hear that air, that means it's pushing air. Let me see if there's any gas left in the tank. All right, I can't see any gas left in the tank. The last pump was pumping air, which tells me it's time to move on to step 3. Okay, now that we've siphoned all of the gas out of the tank, what we want to do to ensure that there is no gas left in the gas tank is to just start it up and run it until it does not run anymore. This will ensure that the tank is completely empty. We want to make sure there are no gas deposits in there that essentially become dead gas and make it very difficult to start your snowblower at the start of the winter months. So I'm going to go ahead and start it up. I got my safety goggles on. I got my safety key I'm putting in. And I'm going to start it up. Okay, we have run the machine. The snowblower is completely out of gas. So what we're going to do now is pour in a few ounces of ethanol shield fuel stabilizer. It's always good to use a little funnel like this to keep it from getting on your engine. So I'm going to pour a little bit in, just a couple of ounces. It differs from make to model, etc. After I pour it in, I'm then going to start up the snowblower again so the fuel stabilizer fluid gets in all of the parts of the engine, again, preventing corrosion and making it easier to start at the start of winter. So I undo my gas cap. My tank is empty. I give the stabilizer a good shake. And I don't want to pour in too much. I just want to pour in, according to my manual, a couple of ounces. All right, hopefully that'll be enough to get her to start. Close it back up. Take out my funnel. Put this over here. And see if we can get a quick start just to get all the stabilizer, etc., throughout the engine. All right. Okay, we are now on the final step of preparing the snowblower for the off-season. What you want to do is take a nice damp rag like this and just run it all over the top parts. You want to get rid of any dust, dirt. Sometimes you get the salt stains. You definitely want to get those off. You want to soak up any excess oil, gas that came out during the siphoning, any excess fuel stabilizer. Now, many people make the mistake of draining the oil on their snowblower. You do not need to do that. The engine needs oil 12 months out of the year, so it makes it incredibly hard if you drain all the oil out of your blower. The machine then has no oil. So I would suggest that you keep the oil in there. And then you just want to go around getting all the dust off, especially engine parts, etc. We don't want gas, the stabilizer, things like that, staying on it for 3 or 4 months. Once that is done, what I like to do is I like to put a tarp on my snowblower and then store it in my garage. I would encourage you to store it in a sheltered place. If you store it outside with a tarp, it's still going to be subjected to rain, water, moisture. Your best bet is to keep it nice and dry. But before I put my tarp on, I'm going to take out my safety key, so that way I know that unless you have this key, it simply cannot be started. So, I got my old tarp here. I'm just going to cover it, make sure I cover the blades, everything like that. And then I'm going to put it in a nice safe space where I put it every winter. Right there. Now that I've walked through these 5 steps, I feel very confident that at the first snowfall of next winter, my snowblower will start up on the first pull.